if someone has any community announcements about what they're doing within the space, any projects they're working on, any notable items that might be relevant to the community in terms of any developments, this is your time. Please raise your hand in the Zoom chat and we will pick you. You can also type your question in the chat room and someone will have a look, and like myself, and I can answer those questions, or sorry, I will pick those questions. Just to let you guys know, we are live and this Zoom meetup is being recorded. So just giving you guys a heads up. So please be mindful of the conversation. Please be respectful. We don't want anything to go haywire during this recording. All right, guys. Community announcements. Does anyone want to start off?
I guess I'll start off. This is our first meetup in the new year, right?
I believe so. Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the Bitcoin Bay team, I'd like to wish the whole community, everybody, a happy new year, 2021. So that goes to our. I think we have people from Bitcoin Bay SV on this call. Bitcoin Bay Saga, Toronto, Kitchener Waterloo, and Bitcoin Bay Global as well. So from the core team, I would like to wish everybody a great happy new year. I start to a magnificent 2020 with prices going up on Bitcoin and everything else, and hopefully it'll be safe and profitable for everybody in the community and anybody doing anything else. That's my community announcement.
Thank you very much, Leo. That was very kind of you. Would anyone like to add to that or go next? Leo, someone said flip your screen. Your camera's upside down.
No, he looks good.
No. Well, something's wrong. Something is wrong with their computer. I'm right
Who
side up.
who is from the global here?
I believe Leo's in Australia. Alwyn is in Abicha in Hawaii.
Bahamas.
I'm in Toronto. Joseph is in Vancouver. Antoine is somewhere in Argentina. So you can find us anywhere in the world.
Who are you? When you say I'm in Toronto, I don't know who you are.
That's
So
Gaurav.
my name is Gaurav. I'm with Bitcoin Bay. I work on their business operations.
Nice.
Was there any other community announcements? Anyone else want to talk about some projects? Anything interesting going on? Any price predictions?
Well, if you're going to talk about interesting, we should talk about the new OCC announcement.
What would that be?
We can see
That would be that the banks are allowed to use blockchain for reconciliations.
basically stable coins for clearing.
Okay.
So we can actually have that discussion after, again, just to flow, because I know there's a few newbies on here, so we want to get them on board, get them a bit wet, and then we can go into a deeper discussion on the second half of the call or of the of Zoom.
Just to give everyone a heads up, if you have any general questions, a lot of them are being answered in the chat. So if you've got any like newbie questions, there's a lot of experienced people from our community who can answer those questions in the chat as well. So if you've got a very beginner question, please feel free to ask it in the chat and someone will for sure get back to you and respond very quickly. It's a very active chat from what I can see right now. Was there any other community announcements? Any other, like Antoine, I know you've always got something going on in the community. Is there something you'd like to say?
I'm okay for today. I'll announce something next time.
Okay, cool.
Can I say something? Hello?
Yep, who is this?
Anyone hear me? I don't even know if anyone can hear me. If you have if you're going out of the country, or say if you're leaving Toronto, and you go say out of the country or out of province, and you want to use your Bitcoin, or you want to transfer your okay, so is it like, should you keep? Is it smart to leave, like if you wanted to use some of your Bitcoin to take it out and put it in, say, your bank account or some other holding place, rather than leave it in the Bitcoin? Because I have a friend who went to Mexico and there's no Bitcoin. He said he doesn't use the bank at all. He uses credit unions to cash checks. And so he said he had to go to Mexico City because there's no Bitcoin machines in where he was in Mexico. So I was just wondering if anybody has any feedback on that.
Can we save that question for after the presentation? It'll give you a better idea of, I mean, I can technically answer the question is that if your friend has Bitcoin and he wants to take some of it to, let's say, Mexico, I mean, as long as you have your wallet, you can use it anywhere. It's just going from your Bitcoin to your local currency. So the problem's always been the last mile, going from Bitcoin to local currency. And maybe that's what the problem is, trying to find somebody that's going to buy the Bitcoin from him and then give him the local currency. I know Mexico's not that bad. I know Mexico's got some ATMs and some exchanges that he can actually transfer the Bitcoin to and get come out of it. But or the easiest thing is just sell it here and take local currency with him, the Mexican pesos or whatever.
So currently, right now, there's not a lot of Bitcoin machines all over the world where you can just go and you can.
Correct.
You have
Correct.
to you have to sort of be like aware of. You either have to keep your bank account open here, or like he does, you know, go to a city where there is a Bitcoin machine.
Yeah, but again, if you're going to a place like that, you should do a bit of research to see what's available for you. I mean, the last mile problem I know people are solving, and I've kind of delved into it myself with some people to discuss how to solve it in like places like Africa, whereby you might not have you might not have ATMs or whatnot, or people that will buy it. But then again, the part of the problem is that in a lot of developing countries, you have people that would call money exchangers in the black market, whereby you can go and buy US dollars or sell US dollars to. And the idea is actually the discussion I was having with an individual before where we're trying to attack the last mile situation was basically have those individuals also become a conduit for helping people on board and get on and get off the crypto rail. So there's a lot of those people around, and if you can get a percentage of them to actually do the work, it'll make it easier. Like, let's say your friend, he has Bitcoin, he can go to the marketplace and basically sell his Bitcoin to a person there, and that person can give him local fiat, and that person can basically then transact his Bitcoin or her Bitcoin to get the local fiat back with an exchange, right? That kind of will
I'm so,
mitigate the last mile.
sorry to say that Leonard is upside down.
No, 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 I'm not upside down. You're seeing,
I'm upside down too, so it works for me. Works for me. I'm like, yeah.
Maybe we're all upside down to him.
The only person that is upside down is Leonard.
Hey, upside down's better than it's the other opposite side, right?
But again, I don't want to monopolize Alwyn's presentation. We can go into an in-depth more discussion once Alwyn finishes and goes into the core concept of crypto and Bitcoin. And then basically we can actually try to see how current problems, i.e. the last mile problems, are being solved to resolve issues like if I go to a developing world and have crypto, how can I actually utilize that crypto if there's no ATMs or there's no banks or anybody supporting me getting out of crypto into local currency.
But the other thing is, you have to remember, it's not like you have to take it with you. There is nothing to take.
See, I mean, the interesting part, and again, this is an aside, is the beauty about crypto is, let's say you're crossing the border and it's ask you, are you bringing any money with you? You tell them no, because you're not. You have your private key, automatically gives you access to your crypto anywhere in the world. So technically, you don't have to declare that $10,000 when you're flying on a plane. So I'm carrying $10,000 cash. No, you don't, because you're not technically. All you have is a couple of words, right? Which can give you access to your crypto. You can put up a wallet on your phone and automatically generate your wallet on the fly and get access to your crypto. So that's the scary part, and that's the scary part to governments as well, where people can actually evade certain things. But again, this is a topic we should continue. Alwyn, it's almost your time, right?
Okay, so what I'll do, I can talk about a couple of things about Bitcoin Pay before we start the presentation, if you guys don't mind. And then we can jump into the presentation. Does that sound like a deal?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to talk a little bit about Bitcoin Pay, we are on a mission to build the world's blockchain ecosystem. We've been around since 2014. We've been helping the community grow. We've been engaged with the community. We are always consistently trying to develop this technology, and we know this can make a huge impact on the world. So we're starting here in Toronto. A little bit about us. This is the team we currently have. We've got Leo, Jerry, Edward, Antoine, myself, and Alwyn. And we are the core team behind this. We've also got Joe Ko, who's currently in Vancouver. We've got Mike Free, who leads our Kitchener-Waterloo meetup. And if there's anyone else I am missing from the Bitcoin Bay team, please just, you're probably in the chat and I will notice, give a shout out to you guys. So what do we offer? We offer different consulting services to the community with the business side of things. So we do product development and design. We have blockchain architecture as a service, building decentralized applications, how to do a trading strategy, building your investor relations, because we understand that there's a lot of people building some interesting projects, but they need to get those ideas across to the right people to keep those ideas going into a business. Ideation assessment, helping you build out your idea. Is it viable? Is it something that can be used in the future? Reach out to us. We can help you decide on that. Merchant adoption, merchants accepting crypto, big part of what Bitcoin was all about in the original days. We wanted everyone to adopt Bitcoin. So that's still a big thing. Protocol research. If you're trying to understand your blockchain protocol, reach out to us and we can help you understand that more clearly. Contact us. If you have any questions, please shoot us an email to info@BitcoinBay and we will surely get back to you, whether it's about community engagement, whether it's about our services that we provide, anything from buying crypto, cold storing, we will get into all that. But you have to send us an email so we can document it. We can get back to you in a professional manner and make sure that no one is left behind for the world of tomorrow. We've had a huge discussion about what's been happening recently with the WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram situation. Just to give you guys a heads up, we are in all of these groups. We are still currently in WhatsApp. We have a Telegram group called Bitcoin Bay Global. I will share that link out right now in the chat to everyone. Here it is. Please be sure to join. We also have a Signal group, which I'm missing to link to, but oh yay, right there. Whoever did that, awesome. We also have that Signal group. Please go join now, get in there, continue the conversation, ask us whatever you want. It's an open community. We're always here. What else? Sorry. We already did the community announcements. Just a friendly reminder to raise your hands when you have any questions in the presentation.
Yeah, they're all speaking us.
Sorry. Okay. Raise your hands in the Zoom chat, and we will pick 3 people at a time. Or you can type your question in the chat as well. Most likely someone will answer it. If Alwyn is too busy continuing to present, I'm sure someone will answer it. And then he'll pause maybe halfway through and answer any questions that you can catch up on. Okay? I hope that's a fair deal. And without further ado, I'm going to leave it over to Alwyn, and I'm going to stop presenting here.
Okay, I'm taking over. Yep. I'm hitting share screen.
Okay.
And just a second. Screen 1 and screen 2. Okay. I have a question for all of you because I'm doing this for the first time using Zoom. Can you see these 2 wallets side by side on my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can. Oh, great. Okay. So the first thing we're going to start with today is to download a wallet. Now, the wallet that I'm not saying we recommend, but we're going to use today is going to be the Coinomi wallet. I want people who've never ever used or had Bitcoin before to consider downloading the wallet on your phone as we go today. So the wallet is the Coinomi wallet, and you can either go to Google Apps and just get Coinomi there, or your iPhone store and get it, or whatever you want. And it will install itself. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to keep up with every one of you as you download it, but in general, I remember way back in time, if you don't even start by owning some crypto, it kind of gets difficult. So we want to help you to start. Now, I know a lot of you have already had that luxury to get some. So that's great. But let's try helping those who have not. So if you download Coinomi and you start the app, you end up starting off with a screen like this. I'm going to show you that screen. Right. So you end up with an option saying create a new wallet or restore a wallet. Now, in this case here, we're going to create a new wallet because that's the first time we're creating it. When I click on create a new wallet, it starts us off with the private key. Now, this key is something you should never, ever be giving to anybody else, because if you do, then they can steal all your coins. It is also imperative that you avoid taking screenshots of this or storing it somewhere on your phone, because if someone hacks your phone and gets this key, they can steal whatever you have on your phone. So it is best practice to write this down on a piece of paper. Now, is this the only way that private keys can be written? No. There used to be earlier different ways, and I'll be getting into those ways later. Right now, we want to be able to say, okay, I have downloaded Coinomi. I'm creating a new wallet, and it is asking me to write down these keys. And therefore, I'm going to actually do that. So give me a second while I do it. Write down these 24 words so that I am able to move to the next screen and see what exactly it does. So I'm going to follow my own advice and not take a screenshot. So if any of you are actually following me and doing this, then you should be writing your seed that it shows you on a piece of paper, not giving that paper to anybody else and not taking any screenshot of it. So just give me a minute. Plunge, fetal, express, small, 3, fetch, bird. Just give me a minute. So I'm just going to be simple there. First 12, worry, vibrant, grown, swamp, set up for parade ramp.
This might be a technical question. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yep.
Just a technical question here. At this point, is the private key generated?
Yes, this is the private key for this wallet.
Well,
No, it's the seed.
well,
It's
this
not
the seed.
generated yet.
isn't the
Yeah, it's
private
seed.
key, right?
No, it's the seed. It's not the private key. It's a seed.
Right. So at this point, is the private key generated?
No, not yet.
So, referring to the earlier question about whether you could choose your own words, if somehow here you can choose words out of the appropriate database, dictionary that they use, yeah, you could.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Um, Okay, so I'm going to continue. Just give me a minute. I've said I have safely stored my recovery phrase. I'm hitting next. And just to verify that I have done it right, the Coinomi wallet asks me, and I'm hitting those words that I've written down: plunge, fatal, express, small. So we go fatal, express, small. 3 fetch, bird, simple. So we go 3 fetch, bird, simple. Their first 12 worry. Their first 12 worry. Vibrant grown swamp setup floor. Vibrant grown swamp setup floor. Just a second. It's parade, ramp, describe, magnet, unaware, exhibit, trash. So parade, ramp, describe, magnet, unaware, exhibit, trash. Okay, so now when I say confirm, it asks for a password. So one has to understand that that 24-word seed that I wrote is sufficient for me to get back my coins that I hold on this Coinomi wallet. If I lose my phone, if the wallet gets corrupted or anything happens. But the password is something it asks just in case I decide to send some coins from the wallet to somebody else. And we're going to do that. We're going to actually conduct a transaction. So I'm going to put in a password and hit OK. It's going to ask me which coins do you want in the wallet, and there are many. But for now, I'm going to take Bitcoin and Litecoin. Will I add more later? Yes, I will. But for now, I have to start and I need to do a transaction. So I've taken Bitcoin and Litecoin and I'm hitting next. Now watch this disclaimer. If you actually read it, you will notice that Coinomi doesn't take any responsibility if you lose your seed, if the software gets corrupted or anything goes wrong. So then you will ask me, why are you recommending it? Well, at the beginning, we need you to be able to start using a wallet and getting some Bitcoin. So in best practice, we have come to show you this wallet. I'm hitting accept, and you see Bitcoin and Litecoin. Now, I can add more coins later, but I would like to start the next part of today, wherein I do an actual transaction. So I have 2 Coinomi wallets side by side on 2 different computers on the cloud, and they both have Bitcoin and Litecoin. And I'm going to take a little Litecoin from the left side, which is something I already initiated. It has its own seed, and I'm going to send it across to this side. How do I do that? So the first thing I need to do, and if you guys have been trying this on your phone, you may not be able to keep up the pace, but there is a recording of what we are doing, so you can always refer to this, or we may have more of these sessions, these exact sessions later. But let me go ahead and say, I need some Litecoin in this new wallet of mine, and I need to receive some coins. So I go and say receive. When I hit receive, this is a QR code, and this is the actual public key that I'm going to hit copy and see if I can paste it here, because in the other wallet, I have some Litecoin. which I want to send. So I say send, and I say send it to this address, the one on the right. Now, I have around 0.1 Litecoin, and I say, hey, why don't you just send $1? Now you'll say, Alvin, why didn't you do that with Bitcoin? The problem with Bitcoin is it has a very high mining fee right now, and the transactions are slow on the network. So we are choosing to do so with Litecoin. It's not like we don't have the luxury to do it with Bitcoin, but I want to show you how to verify, etc., etc. So I'm hitting send, and you notice the transaction fee for the $1 of Litecoin, which is 0.00564454 Litecoin, is very low. When I hit confirm, the password that I had set for this one is being asked. I put it in, I hit unlock, and it sends. Now come to the new wallet, and you should, in some time, if not more, see it's already confirming, and you will notice, let me go to the overview. Hang on. So if I click on overview, you will notice that there's an unconfirmed 0.00564454 Litecoin. Now it will take some time. It will confirm, and you will notice that much less Litecoin in the other wallet. So coming to understand that we have understood how to download a wallet, how to secure the seed, and conduct a transaction, I would like to now show you some of the sites you need to know. For example, how to see the price. So if we say, for example, that there was an amount of Litecoin that was sent here, which was $1 worth, and that was 0.00564454. How do we know that value? So there is a website, preve.com, where we can check BTC value in CAD. We can check Litecoin value. One Litecoin is 176. 56. So I forget the amount again, but let's see how much that was. It was 0.00564454. So 0.0056. Hang on. And you'll see it's approximately 1 Litecoin. So you've learned wallets. Here's a website, preve.com, and you can see the value of Bitcoin anytime. You want to know what a 1 Bitcoin is? That's how you go. You want to know $1,000 of Bitcoin? That's how you go. Now, immediately after showing you guys how to get a wallet and how you can transfer some crypto from one wallet to another, I'd like to take you to a website called bitcoin101.ca, where on the very first slide, I have, hang on, it doesn't show, but let me get, I'll modify it, but just a second. Huh? I'll have that site modified, but I want to show you this card here belonging to our sponsor today, which is Louis B. And I would recommend to you that if you have a wallet and you are trying to get Bitcoin for the first time, to get in touch with Louis, because she is one of the first people, not the first, the people we know who does Bitcoin for cash. Now, do you need to go to an exchange? Would we recommend that? Are there better ways to do it? Yes, there are different ways. But we are going to give you what we know to be a good way of starting. If you do go to Louis, you can buy from anywhere from $200 to $99.99 in cash of Bitcoin. You could download the Coinomi wallet and you can go and get some Bitcoin. Of course, to know what value your Bitcoin is going to be, we have Treef.com. So if you buy $900 worth, approximately this plus her fees, which you can call up and discuss with her. So getting some Bitcoin after you've downloaded a wallet, there are many ways. You could go to an exchange. You could use Poloniex. You could use Binance. But for starters, we suggest that you try going and doing it for cash. Now, there's no compulsion. You are welcome to use your own methods. It's not necessary to use the exact wallet we told you to either. But there are some practices that we recommend that would be in better order as time goes by. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is the Litecoin Explorer to show the transaction that we just conducted and see how it shows on the blockchain. So that was the public key. And you'll notice that here is the transaction that I just did. And it was it was 0.00564454 Litecoin. And there are some confirmations that have taken place. So this is the first part of today, wherein we see how we've downloaded wallets and we've transferred some Bitcoin or Litecoin, and we've seen how we can see that on the blockchain using an explorer. The next thing is to be able to use Coinomi to convert to another coin. So is Coinomi a wallet alone? Does it allow you exchange options? I'm clicking on exchange here and I'm saying I'd like to have some Ethereum. And so I say, hey, how about taking some of my Litecoin and converting it to Ethereum? So let's try that using CoinSwitch, which is a provider. Let's see if that works. It should ideally, because I do have $16 in Litecoin, but given rate does not include the provided rate is guaranteed for 2 minutes. So amount, let's say we go in our wallet. I check what the balance is in Litecoin. Just a second. 0.09435. Let's convert all of it. Okay, so there is a minimum amount of Litecoin that I need to be able to convert to Ethereum. So I will not be able to do so with this. But as you can see, that Coinomi also allows you to be able to transact between coins that convert. You can add coins if you wish to. Currently, this has got Bitcoin and Litecoin. To be able to add, you have to choose the add option. Hang on, that would be default wallet. And you go to the wallet and add asset, add coin, and let's say you add Ethereum. So now, ideally, you should have 3 coins. Now, of course, the exchange is not working because I don't have sufficient Litecoin minimum to convert, but Coinomi is not just a wallet, it has exchange functionalities also. Right. Now comes the next part. Other places that you can go to, like the question that was asked about, what if I cross an airport and I go to Mexico or India? So there are websites like localbitcoins.com that allow you to find people who are in different parts of the world, Bhutan, who have various options to buy and sell. The only problem is, I believe local Bitcoins used to have the cash option earlier, but now they don't. We're not recommending local Bitcoins to people who don't understand it. It's just a nice way of meeting people who might be transacting. There are other ways. You can use ATMs if you have the option. But you got to be careful. If you're going to go with a chunk of Bitcoin or a chunk of cash to exchange, you need to be doing some kind of due diligence, meet in a cafe, etc., etc. So it's just the answer to that question that, hey, is it possible to cross airports and find people who deal? As long as you're safe and careful, it's one of the options. The other question that was asked is, what are the words that are used usually? There is a list. This list is called the Bitcoin Improvement 39 word list. You can't really choose your words to make your seed, but that is the list from which it usually picks up. Now, other than that, we will now move into a discussion of what are the best practices for cold storing your Bitcoin. Now, if you go to, just hang on, just a second. Sorry, this has been a little messed up. I'm gonna have to redo that, but there are many options that one has in terms of different types of wallets, but it is recommended that people be careful what they choose. If you decide to go with paper wallets, Trezors, Open Dimes, etc., then there are risks associated with each method. And we can discuss those because it has risks in terms of vetting of the code that is used by each of these people when they create these wallets. You may have heard of the hack that took place with Ledger. That's the Ledger wallet. Now, it was not that the ledger itself got hacked, but they hacked the database of people who had ordered the ledgers, and they got hold of their addresses and their details. So that kind of opened things to risk. The other place that you can go to is OpenDime, where you can store your Bitcoin on this kind of a physical chip. But when you want to retrieve your private key, you need to punch a hole. And if that doesn't work, then that also can get into a risk. So what I'm trying to say is there are issues that can come about with every option. And one needs to be careful as to what options one chooses when he uses wallets, exchanges, and cold store methods. So the rule of thumb is not your keys, not your crypto. I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment, just a moment. Getting back here, and I don't know how to stop sharing. Just a moment, everyone. Right. Right. So
Hey, Gaurav, can you help Alwyn stop sharing by basically disabling his sharing function so that he can do
oh yeah,
whatever
I
he
can.
wants to
I
do?
see it here. Hang on. I can
Sure.
see it here. Okay. So getting back, the rule of thumb is not your keys, not your crypto. So you should ensure that no matter what you do, you have control of your keys. Now, for the Coinomi wallet, we just did that. We saw how to take down the seed, the 24-word seed, before we did any transaction from one wallet to another. But you must understand that if any of you was watching and you took hold of those 24 words, you can just take those same 24 words and initiate another Coinomi wallet, and you can get hold of that $1 in Litecoin that I sent. So me publicly displaying the seed of that particular wallet may have not been the wisest thing, but hey, any of you is welcome to take that $1. Now, once you understand that you have methods to use wallets to secure your seeds, the next thing you need to know is if you go to exchanges, which is a topic for another day, they do not give you control of your seed. They allow you to exchange, and it's not this Coinomi wallet that we were doing that I'm talking about. You have Poloniex, you have Bittrex, you have Binance, but they store your Bitcoin in their hot wallets. And when you decide after exchanging to move stuff out, that's when they give you control of your coins. But over time and over the years, we have seen multiple exchanges that have failed. So it all began way back in 2014 when Mt. Gox failed. We've all heard of Quadriga failing, etc., etc. So the question then arises is, what do we use exchanges for? So the first rule of thumb, not your keys, not your crypto. The second is three things. Wallets for day-to-day amounts that you carry in a normal wallet like you do in your purse. So you're going over to Louis B, you're going to receive some Bitcoin, you take a wallet initiated with Coinomi, and you use that to receive. But over time, let's say you went and you got one Bitcoin in 2015. At that time, the price may have been in the range of $1,000. Today, one Bitcoin is in the range of 40 to 50,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, maybe you sent it and exchanged it to something else. That's great if you do it on exchange. But after exchanging, you should send it back to your wallet, because if you leave it on an exchange and the exchange fails, not your keys, not your crypto, you lose everything. So wallets for day-to-day use, exchanges only for exchanging. What do you do with large valuations of crypto, large valuations of Bitcoin, Litecoin, um, um, Cardano, or whatever else you end up having in terms of a portfolio? That's where you cold store. That's where you put it into a ledger, a Trezor, an OpenDime, or different places that are not directly connected to the internet. But we just discussed that and said, hey, you know what? We don't have access to the code that Coinomi uses. So is there risk? Yes, there is, but fair enough. Wallets like Coinomi have not failed. There are a recommended set of wallets if you go to bitcoin.org, where you have the Bitcoin Core, etc. And Bitcoin Bay itself has a strategy for cold storage that we are initiating. For people who are interested, they can connect with us and we will have a personalized course for you to show you ways that you can best practice cold store. One of the ways that is recommended is using official wallets. Official wallets are those that are given by the coins creators itself. Like in Cardano, you have the Daedalus wallet. In Bitcoin, way back in time, there were no mobile wallets, there were no paper wallets. We used to use Bitcoin Core. But the problem with those wallets like Bitcoin Core is that you end up having to download the entire blockchain. So then what are the best practices and what is the best way for you to be able to do the same things for kind of your situation? That's where we come in, and we would like to provide you with that service saying, hey, here's what you can do for Bitcoin, here's what you can do for whatever. And there are some issues when it comes to downloading a blockchain. So the Bitcoin blockchain is in the range of, I'm sharing my screen again. Just give me a second. 1 second, here we go. So the Bitcoin blockchain itself is in the range of 390 gigabytes. And you have, just a second. You have, if you use the Bitcoin Core, you have to have that kind of speed because it takes 2 or 3 days just to download the entire blockchain. So I'm going to be putting this presentation on bitcoin101.ca. I did actually, but it got a little messed up. It takes you through the deep dive of Bitcoin. And that's something that we can spend a little time quickly today for the next half an hour for understanding how Bitcoin works. Now, this is a little technical. So while I go through this one, I do have to tell you that it's not easy. It's going to be on a website, bitcoin101.ca. You might have to repeatedly look at it a few times before you understand. But let's go with it. So 3rd of Jan 2009, we have 3 people who came together. Let's say they were Satoshi, Hal, and Gavin, and they decided to participate in an experiment. They allowed their computer hard disks to be used as peer-to-peer nodes for a distributed ledger, which is known as the Bitcoin blockchain. They did so by using the Bitcoin source code, which can be found at so-and-so site, bitcoin.com, github.com. Now, this ledger alone cannot work because it requires some processing power. And therefore, we have the concept of mining. Mining is not the ledger. Mining is processing. And therefore, while we have 3 people participating in this experiment, let's assume that 2 of them decide to take part in mining. They allow their computer hard disks to be used as nodes to be recorded, but 2 of them decide we're going to give our CPUs for mining. Mining involves proof of work and allows Bitcoin transactions to be performed between participants. So we did a Litecoin transaction and something happened in the background, and that's what this mining is all about. Mining is the process of adding transaction records to the Bitcoin's public ledger of past transactions. The ledger of transactions is called the blockchain, and it is a chain of blocks. The blockchain serves to confirm transactions to the rest of the network as having taken place. Bitcoin nodes use the blockchain to distinguish legitimate transactions from attempts to respend coins that have already been spent elsewhere. Now, this is how Bitcoin blocks basically look. They are 1 megabyte in size. They have a new block every 10 minutes. They have a header. They have a previous block header. They are date and time stamped. There is something called as a nonce, etc. Now, it's difficult to get this at the beginning when you look at it for the first time. But if you understand, by the way, the current reward is 6.25. This is an older presentation. Again, I'll be putting this presentation on bitcoin101.ca for anybody to have a look to understand Bitcoin easy. Also, the current size of the Bitcoin blockchain is no longer 170, it's around 350 GB. Now, in the next 4 slides, I'm going to explain mining. It's really deep, but if you get it, you've got the hang of how the blockchain works. So we've understood as we go back that there are people who have computers that are nodes, and these nodes basically have the Bitcoin blockchain ledger on them. Some people are mining. In the beginning, mining was done using CPUs. It has gone forward to a lot of different ways, but you need to have some form of mining to be able to have the blocks created. People can choose to mine, but it's no longer an option that's easy. So mining isn't for the faint of heart. We've also understood that there is a certain look to each block in the blockchain. There are certain sizes to each block. There are certain times by which each block comes to pass. There are headers, date and time stamps, etc. And you've been told that, hey, 6.25 is the reward and 350 GB is the size. But you've not really clearly understood yet how mining works. So it's going to be tricky for you until you get that. So in the next 4 slides I'm repeating, I'm going to try to explain mining. It is a very important concept, and in the next 20 minutes, if you get it, great. If not, repeat this, go to bitcoin101.ca, and you will get it. Eventually, when you get it, you will understand how the blockchains work. So let's go. So most explanations are very simple. They say, oh, you have a math problem. Bitcoin is more. So mining is more akin to rolling dice than solving problems. Let's see how they are mined, what keeps them mined, and who sets the difficulty for this mathematical problem. The next few points are a kind of a hands-on approach with concepts simplified so you can see what's going on. To understand mining, one needs to understand what a hash function is. Put simple, a hash function simply is an input that creates a random output. So if I tell you, take a calculator and give me the square root of 3, you will get a certain output, 1.7320, whatever. And then I tell you, take from the 5th place to the 10th place. That's 508075. Now try that with another prime number. Let's say 11. And from the 5th place to the 10th place, the square root of 11 is 247903. So this is a very simple hash function in which I say, take a prime number, take the square root, and give me the output of the 5th to the 7th place, or the 5th to the 10th place. Now if I tell you, find me the input, find me the prime number in which, when you take the square root, the 5th to the 10th place is 512754. You'll have to put in your calculator 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and then you'll find that which works and say, oh, it's 13 that has that. You'll say, why should I do this? I'll say, you know what? If you find me that input to the output I'm asking, I will give you a reward. And that's proof of work, because when you do find that input to the output requested, you have to do some work to get there. And that proof of work is going to be rewarded. That's somewhat how mining works. But in this slide, we've only understood how a hash function works. In Bitcoin, we use a mining algorithm called as SHA-256, where you can put in words, you can put in numbers, you can put in anything, and you get an output similar to what you see over here. But if I tell you, I need to have an input that you need to find, which gives me a certain output, which has a certain number of leading zeros, then you'll have to put in a lot of stuff to be able to get that output. So if I say, hey, I need to have 10 leading zeros or 100 leading zeros for whatever input you put in, then basically what all the people are doing when they are mining is they are running inputs to get that output using SHA-256. And the first person who gets it is rewarded with, in the current circumstance, 6.25 Bitcoins. So then what is the purpose of this mining? What is the purpose of being able to mine? In the beginning, you saw that I did a transaction. I did a transaction from one wallet to another wallet. What did that transaction do? It sent Bitcoin or Litecoin from one person to another. That person had a key. That key was a 24-word seed phrase which talked to the blockchain. What is the blockchain? It is a ledger. Who holds it? Nodes. Who has those nodes? Any one of you can have a node. You download the blockchain and you become a node. What is the current size of the Bitcoin blockchain? 390 gigabytes. Now, when you mine, you need to be giving some kind of processing power. And so when your mining machine or CPU or GPU or pool of miners basically are going to try to get hold of the next reward, which is 6.25 Bitcoin, you are being tricked to collect all transactions that are taking place between all the different wallets. Now, while you're being tricked into collecting all of them, one guy wins and says, hey, I found that number 13 that gives me that kind of an output you require. Or I found this input to SHA-256 that gives me so many leading zeros. that guy's block becomes the next block on the chain. So basically, mining is nothing but tricking a whole bunch of processing power that has been put in by people who choose to do so into trying to solve a problem wherein you need to randomly throw dice and put inputs through SHA-256 to be able to get an output with so many leading zeros. Now, the more the number of zeros in the output required, the tougher the difficulty. And the more the number of people that come in with mining equipment and mining power, the blockchain automatically readjusts every 2 weeks. And so it ensures that blocks come in every 10 minutes. And this is all part of that software that Satoshi wrote and threw in. And difficulty of mining, adjusting, blockchains, etc. This is how it functions. So again, I've spent the last few minutes going through how mining works. And in the rest of the slides, we have the basics of blockchain, various links to the Wikipedia pages, and again, a second look at this blockchain. You see blocks being added every 10 minutes, which contain transactions, which contain headers. The header is nothing but the nonsense that was thrown to SHA-256 to get the output with so many leading zeros. You have the transactions, you have the date and time stamp, you have the reward, you have 1 MB per block starting from 3rd Jan 2009. The rest of our presentation is basically about mining equipment. That top left picture was actually my miners way back in 2016. The various types of hardware and some more basics of Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? The Satoshi's paper. What are the characteristics of Bitcoin? And the question that somebody else was asking, every public key has a corresponding private key. In the old days, there was no Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 39. So if you had to store your Bitcoin using a private key, you had to know the key. And this was the way we used to do it. So again, this presentation I'm going to put on bitcoin101.ca. In fact, it was, but I made a last minute change. So it's kind of messed up if you go there, but this is the presentation. It's a deep dive into Bitcoin. The rest of this presentation basically tells you about various parts of Bitcoin, how it goes into 8 decimal places, the smallest unit, the network, where you can get Bitcoins at ATMs, exchanges. We've already discussed about going and doing it for cash with Louis B. The different types of mobile wallets. We just discussed Coinomi. We went through an entire process. I thought maybe some of you would have tried it out. Backing up your 12-word seed. This is the easy part. This is all stuff we've just done when we started the presentation. So it's just that I put the easy part in the latter half. This actually doesn't use Coinomi. It uses the Jax wallet to show you the same thing that we just did with Coinomi. Public key, tips, hot versus cold, hot wallet connected to the internet, cold wallet, types of wallets, backing up. Different wallets have different ways. The Bitcoin Core wallet used to have the whole blockchain had different ways. Some good resources which help you understand how to build your own blockchain. Andreas Antonopoulos book Mastering Bitcoin, and resources like ECTSA, etc., etc. A picture of people, including Peter Todd, one of the 6 core programmers behind me, kneeling down, the guy, Antoine, the Open Dime guys, Ed. And with that, I'm gonna stop sharing. I hope I haven't lost people, but that brings us to the end of my presentation. While I throw the discussion open to people. I'm going to try and fix Bitcoin101.ca so that oh yeah, let me not forget, we have YouTube channels, etc., guys. So Gaurav is going to mention that. And while I hand over this to Gaurav to continue, I'm going to try and fix Bitcoin101.ca in the next 10 minutes so that you guys can have Louis B's slide right on the top, her connections, her information, and whatchamacallit, the entire deep dive presentation for you to go through several times so that you can get to understand better how the blockchain works. Like I said, it's easy to understand wallets. It's easy to understand how to store your seeds, but it's tough to understand the blockchain's functioning itself unless you go through it a couple of times. Maybe re-attend this course this kind of a meetup that I will take in a different way when there is more time to focus only on blockchain. Also, I'm going to re-emphasize this a million times. Trusting Coinomi, trusting Ledger, trusting things that you think will work are not the best solution. You need to come to us and we create for you some kind of a personalized way to cold store, especially if you end up with large valuations of Bitcoin or Cardano or various other things, because you are welcome to try it with your wallets. But like I said, wallets are for day to day, what you keep in your wallet. Exchanges should be used only for exchanging. Cold store techniques and methods can be quite different and quite complex depending on what you do and how you choose to do it. And I'm not saying Ledger got hacked. The database they took for people's addresses and when they sent it, that got hacked. So Ledger didn't. But have you vetted Ledger's code? No. Have you vetted Coinomi's code? No. So am I going to sit there and say that's your best way of doing it? I'm not saying this is good or this is bad. Today's presentation was about best practices, and we continue to have best practices as time goes by. So over to Gaurav now, and I think we can throw it open for questions. Anybody, just any questions at all? I have tried to answer most of your questions. One of the slides in that presentation talks about ECDSA, which is basically elliptic curve digital signature algorithm. So to answer the question that I think was being explained to the gentleman, your public key you show to everybody. Each public key usually has a corresponding private key. In fact, each public key has a corresponding private key. In the past, there was no Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 39, and so we had to have our private keys backed up. And so a private key was a whole string of words, letters and words, just like it looks like a public key. And I've had people who are foolish enough to go and put the private key in the Explorer and lose their coins, or put your 24-word seeds like I did. I was dumb enough, but you get my $1. I'm happy, right? So you got to be careful what you do, careful what you don't do, who you go to, where you start. And let's not talk about taxes here, because that's not what Bitcoin Bay does. Also, Bitcoin Bay is not into investment advice. So we are not going to say this is good and that is bad. We, as you see, are trying our best to get you technically up to speed so that you can tackle this entire industry of blockchain as time goes by. Right. That's me. Over to you, Gaurav. I'm going to hand it over, and then questions or whatever you guys want to do, right? Hello, Gaurav, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation, Olin. That was very informative, and I think the community really appreciates that. So thank you so much for your time. We have two questions. Someone asked, why do you recommend a soft wallet? And I think you already answered the question. It's your day-to-day wallet that you have in your pocket that you can use for spending, if I'm correct, or if you have any alternative to that question, sorry. And then the second one was, if I pick 12 or 24 random words from the list, what are the odds someone, I get, they said I can guess someone's, like, or is someone able to guess that?
So I asked that question, Maida. So the first question is, I'm going to repeat, not your keys, not your crypto. Please remember that. The second is wallets for day to day, exchanges for exchanging, and come to us or develop your cold store method so that you have a solid hold of one Bitcoin, $50,000. Way back in time, I'm telling you, Agisan says so. In 2012, if you downloaded a wallet, we'd give you one Bitcoin free. I wasn't around at that time, but I've been giving away $1 free, $2 free, $3 free over the years. And now I look back at 3 transactions on 26 Jan 2014. I gave away 3 $2 in Mumbai, and each of those are $100. So you can imagine how much we do for the community to be able to get up to speed. We just wanted them to start. And even today, it was my first time after many years trying to get this to work using Zoom. And I had to figure out how to get Coinomi working in 2 places on the cloud. And it worked. So the presentation will be there for you. I used to do that every day at Pearl King. And so that's great. Anyway, getting back. So what was the second question, Gaurav? So do we recommend, sorry, let me get back. So do we recommend wallets? Yes, we do. For day to day, you have to. You can't go up to Louis B. Or you can, I guess, if you've taken a paper wallet or you've got the private key and you go to her with a public key and she sends it, be assured it's going to come. So if you have the confidence to say generate a public-private key pair using a Bitcoin Core wallet or some paper wallet that you're confident about, and you go and show the public key and she sends it, you can be confident that you are able to access it using your private key. So wallets and ways to approach Louis or to approach anybody are different. The open dime is one of the concepts from a Toronto company that we can talk about separately, which is fantastic. But if you can't punch a hole or break that stick, that gets into a bit of a problem. So I'm not saying it's bad, but each wallet has its own risk. If you go to Udemy, there's a course on how to create your own wallet. Now, at least when you type that in JavaScript and create your own wallet, you know there's no way that it can be faked. So I'm not saying this is good and that is bad, but wallets, cold store, and exchanges. Understand the need and the differences. Sorry, Gaurav, what was the second question? About the 24 and the 12-word seed.
Yeah,
so I
someone
pointed.
Guess your 12 or 24
So
words?
I asked that question, and the answer is no. If you go deep enough studying it through Google, you'll find the 12-word seed has. So by the way, I already showed you the BIP 39 word list, because a lot of people, when they write the words, miss out spellings, and then they come 4 years later to people like their daughter or their son and say, I can't get it, what happened? So you've actually spelled it wrong. Therefore, you can go to that reference list and see where you've got your words wrong, because they are chosen from that list. And no, you cannot hack the 12 and 24 word lists, because the mathematicians who have invented these improvement proposals have done so knowing that people will try to hack. So I know it sounds like simple, but it's not possible. So there are also questions like quantum, etc., that have been hit at us. If you feel like, hit me with it so that I can answer it. But for now, no, you cannot, unless someone gives you the 12 words list or the 24 word list, it cannot be guessed by anybody. So yeah, any more questions, Gaurav? I'm looking, but I'm not.
Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand or like how you do it.
That's fine, Paul. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Actually, well, my first question would be, how do you raise your hand, just so I know for future reference? Like, where do
I don't know, Paul. I saw you raise your hand, and I'm as bad as you. This is my first time doing a Zoom presentation. So
it's actually just at the bottom right. If you look at the reactions, guys, there's a way to, you press a button, and then there's a clap button. And then raise button.
Thumbs up. How do you raise your hand? I see clap and thumbs up.
It's just below that. It's raise hand.
Oh, I don't have I have a clap and thumbs up. That's it.
Let me try, Alvin. Do you see the button for participants?
Yeah.
So if you click on participants.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Yeah, raise hand. Okay, so I just raised.
Sorry, Alvin.
Okay, no problem. I'm a little new to technology. Yeah, Paul, go with your question.
That wasn't my question, but okay, so now that I know how to do that, participants. Okay, so my question was, I had heard that BitBuy has a dollar for dollar insurance policy. Does anyone know if that's true? Like if your money's stolen, it's guaranteed? Is that the...
So I'll answer the question. If I'm not mistaken, BitBuy is an exchange. I think I've used it. I can't remember because I've used a lot of exchanges. So the rule will be the same. They may have insurance, they may not. But if they refuse to
told
give...
me they did. Can I trust them for that or no?
No, this is the thing. The rule of thumb, I'm going to repeat. Not your keys, not your crypto. Wallets for day-to-day transactions. Exchanges only for exchanging. You leave your stuff on an exchange, we'll tell you 100 reasons, Quadriga, Mount Gox. People have lost tons of money. Right. So I know people who say, but it's difficult to keep transferring my Bitcoin to the exchange when I'm in a hurry to make a transaction. But as long as you know the risk, I'm not going to sit here telling you it's okay when it's not. And your cold store methods, because if you leave it everything on a wallet and the wallet company's code has not been vetted, I can't stand here as a guarantor for Coinomi. Coinomi itself has a petty disclaimer when you go. So you gotta be clear about everything I said today. In terms of, I didn't spend enough time on the deep dive. I'm going to put it on Bitcoin101.ca, but everything else, I was very clear saying, risk is real. This isn't a bank where you can go and say, I am the legacy owner, this, that, and the other. This is about a software, like Andreas Antonopoulos says, unstoppable code that began in 3rd Jan 2009 and has been replicated by 5,000 different blockchains, but works by itself. If you don't learn how to engage and tackle it in the best possible ways as we are advising, you're going to find that you will have issues that we can't describe. Every problem you're going to have today. It's because we've seen it and people have fallen. There are scamsters. There's problems every day. So we are engaged with those problems. So your best bet is to ask and we tell. And if you can believe, fine. If not, God bless you, because when the problem does come, BitBuy or whatever will put their hands up. And then where do we go?
Yes.
Could I chime in for 1 second, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
So, Paul, think about it this way. If anybody promises you insurance, you come, you give me a private key, I'll take you all your money, and then you get insurance, and we'll split it in half. Do you understand why insurance is impossible?
Oh, it is impossible.
Did you hear what I just said? So you take a private key and you give it to Alvin.
Yeah, he takes it.
Right, and then you go back to insurance company and say my money was stolen.
Yeah, but they claim that they have a dollar to dollar insurance policy.
I can claim that I have two heads.
So do you guys think they're lying or?
Well,
so
let me chime in. Let me chime in for a quick sec. So
I'll go to take a break.
Full disclosure, we have worked with a few of the exchanges, so we have to full disclosure. We've worked with BitBuy. They've sponsored a couple of our events, hackathons and stuff. That being said, Alwyn has tried to say, everybody's trying to say yes. Companies can say we're fully insured, a 1-for-1, but they are not one. You can't really say yes because they're not FDIC. If you're in the US, they are not FDIC insured or CDIC insured, right? So the insurance could be from a third party, and that third party can find whatever reason to get out of basically fulfilling the obligations. If basically BitBuy gets hacked and loses his coins, or one of the employees steals from them and you're out of your SOL, what could happen is that you could also be out of SOL. So what everybody's trying to tell you is proceed with caution. If an exchange is telling we're insured, great. If you want to leave your money there, great. But bearing in mind that insurance does not mean anything outside of what they're telling you. Because once a company or somebody has to basically honor that insurance companies, and you know this, insurance companies don't like to pay. Yeah. They don't like to pay out.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so having said that, see, I'm not planning to leave my money there for long. That's why I have this wallet. I was asking, I want to take my cryptocurrency off the exchange. It's my first time doing it, and I got stuck because it was asking for my wallet address. But in the meantime, like right now, I have money on the exchange. You know, I'm just learning how to use this. Like to leave it there for like a week, do you think that safe? Like, is that
Can I
should
can I
do it right now?
can I chime in one more time, Paul?
Huh?
You're an adult human being. You're over 18 years old, I think.
Yeah.
You're totally okay to do whatever you
Well, if I'm younger than 18, that's good. If
right. Paul, you can do whatever you want. What we're all trying to tell you is it's up to you. The exchange could get hacked today or tomorrow.
I want
So
to take it off.
Paul, listen to what I'm trying to say. We don't know if it's going to get hacked today or tomorrow. So living it for a week is the same as living it for a year. The probability does not increases or decreases. What you might want to do is leave a little bit of money there. Just like if you in Mexico and you want to trade crypto for cash and you don't want to be killed, you take a different wallet where you only have $20 of worth of crypto, and you go and you trade with somebody and they say, oh, I'm gonna put a gun to your head and I want your private key. You give them private key, you lose $20. You don't have thousands of dollars on the same wallet that you're gonna trade with. The difference.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I don't have to finish if you want, but the difference between crypto and fiat is you responsible for every action. Every time you make a mistake, you pay extremely dearly. So my recommendation to you is start with very small amount and experiment, because if you lose $20, you're not even going to cry over it. It's a cheap learning lesson. If you use $20,000, you're going to be up the creek. So try everything you want for $10. Everything. That way, it's a cheap learning experience.
Right. So, Paul, this will be the last point, I guess. Let me just clue you on something. In this space, there are people, their job, day and night, is to attack exchanges, it's to attack wallets, it's to attack. That's all they do all day. Their job, 24/7, is that. So, an exchange is getting attacked enormously, more so than anything. So, would you, let's say you're going to a bank, you walk into a bank, and you know that bank gets robbed every day, or tries to get robbed every day. What your course of action would be: am I going to leave my money in that bank because I know it's getting robbed every day, or am I even going to walk towards that bank where it's getting robbed every day? So the course of action is knowing that, right? We're saying the best practice, especially in this space, changes on a day-to-day basis, hours to hours. But what has lasted over time is you don't want to keep too much of your money or your coin or your wealth on an exchange. Store it elsewhere.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. So that I'm in the process of doing that right now. So, but okay, for the brief moment, like let's say you're buying or selling on an exchange. For that brief moment, the money has to be in their hands. Like you have to trust them, right?
Correct.
For like
yes. While you're exchanging, you have no option but to send, and then you're trusting them for that hour, that 2 hours, the 10 days.
Yeah. So
you know the risk.
So no matter what, if you're buying or selling for a moment, you have to trust the party, like the exchange.
Yes.
And that has introduced other people in this space to try to solve that problem by taking the intermediary out of the equation, being the exchanges, and making it as decentralized as possible. You don't need to trust. But until that is fully functioning, that's another topic. But again, we'll just leave that as be.
I have tried decentralized exchanges, guys. There are different problems and different levels of scamsters at that. So be careful. Other than the good ones like Binance, Poloniex, and again, even they could fail. I would be cautious. That's all. I'm not saying that I have a guarantee even those two will work, but this is an education. So.
Okay, I'm gonna give some time to. So we're a little bit over time. This was supposed to wrap up at 7:30. I'm gonna let two people who have their hands raised go and ask their final questions. Those will be the last two questions of the night, and then we'll just do a wrap up of everything. So
okay, one last thing, Gaurav. Bitcoin 101.ca is functional. I just had a cache issue. So if any one of you go on the phone and type Bitcoin 101.ca, you will see Louis' card in the first slide. You can zoom in and you can see the entire presentation of the blockchain deep dive right there for you to soak it in over time for yourselves. So it was just that I did it and it clashed on my screens, but otherwise it functioned. So go ahead, Gaurav. Sorry.
Also,
Uh,
just Gaurav, before you go, just to add to that, for those that are not in the GT area, I know people are on the call not in the GT area, and if you're new, you're looking for somebody. Alwyn alluded to a local Bitcoin as well, but you can also reach out to us, and we through our network we can see if we can help you locate somebody in your local area that can help you actually facilitate that face-to-face buying of crypto.
But there are
uh,
risks,
yeah.
Yes,
Leo, and that's like
yes,
this. If it's technically illegal in Dubai and there is a front guy who's waiting to arrest you, so it's risky to do it. The second
yep.
thing is I learned a lot of lessons when I went through it. I used local bitcoins with a bank transfer, and after 3 transfers, I sent $1,200 worth of Bitcoin to a person. When I went to convert from US to CAD, the bank said there's a hold on the money, and I was like, what hold? And then I learned that in Canada people can reverse money from the bank once they send it to you. I didn't know that. Coming from Dubai and Mumbai, I knew you can't reverse transactions, but the guy takes your Bitcoin and then reverses the transaction from the bank. After that happened to me in 2014, I called the police. The policeman comes to my house and asks me what is Bitcoin. So I lost another $1,200. That was on top of all the other money I lost in 2014. So the learning curve can be really painful if you don't listen to us, or be careful at every stage. So do what it takes, but be careful. That's all. So that's my advice. Right.
So we're just gonna end it off with two questions from the community of the two people who I see their hands raised. Thank you for waiting patiently. So I don't know who raised their hand first, so I'm just gonna pick
It's me.
Ilya. Goran.
Great, thank you. I was first.
So go for it.
Hi, two quick questions. Might be very interesting for beginners as well. So how can I buy like any cryptocurrency? Only cash, because I saw in the chat it's only cash. But some wallets let you buy crypto using your credit card or transfer from bank account. And second question, for example, I need to transfer the money from one country to another country. Can I use crypto for this? Like, for example, create one wallet, link the account in one country, and then send Bitcoins, let's say, to my another wallet, and link it, which is linked to another account, for example.
So I'll take a go at your question. So the first thing is, there is no country for a blockchain. You decide to send from X to Y. It doesn't really matter whether one person is in Toronto, the other person is in Iran. The second is, if you want to convert it to cash, you could use local Bitcoins. You can use stable coins. You can use exchanges like in Dubai, for example. There is an exchange called, I forget the name, but it allows any person in the GCC to open BitOasis, to open an account. And then when you transfer your Bitcoins there, and if you have a linked bank account, you can cash it out over there. But again, I don't know if you do large volumes, can that be a problem? So from here to send to BitOasis, if your friend or you have a Dubai residence visa and you're able to cash out, hey, I don't know. You'll have to work out that nitty-gritty because you're a resident of Toronto, I'm assuming. But maybe I am a dual resident. So Bahamas, I don't know how it works. Mumbai, I know how it works. So each jurisdiction, sending the Bitcoin from one to another, converting it to a stable coin on an exchange and moving it to a wallet is the easy part. That's where we come in technically. But place-to-place risks have to be clear. Local Bitcoins used to have cash option, now they don't. But if it's a bank transfer in Toronto, the guy can call the money back. PayPal can be a risk. So what we advise is, for starters, people who are beginning, download a Coinomi wallet, go get $200 of crypto from Louis in cash, or 300 or 500 or 1,000, and maybe create a Binance account or a Poloniex account, transfer your Bitcoin there, move it to different coins. There are so many coins more available in Poloniex than in Coinomi. Come to us when your portfolio becomes large, because you'll want to cold store your Bitcoin, cold store your Cardano, cold store your Elrond, cold store so many other things. So this is our advice. Now, if you feel that you can handle this on your own, or some of you are experts, we are not going to stop you. But today's class was 101 beginner, and we are trying to encompass as many topics for people who are new as well as experienced. So if that answers your first question as to how you can send it across to anywhere in the world, there is no jurisdiction that you can't send it to. But how do you cache it depends on what you're planning to do and what they have in terms of that exchange or that place and that local Bitcoin person that you meet, etc. So if
So
that
it's
answers
okay
your
to link the account and transfer the money from the account to the wallet and buy cryptocurrency, right? It doesn't have to be cash only.
Not necessary. In fact, Binance and everybody allows you. But I'm telling you this: the moment you try link PayPal and credit card and you try to come out, you have headaches. You send it to your CIBC account, they have a problem. You try to get in from your TD account, they have a problem. You try to use your credit card, they'll have charge you cash transfer. So everything that adds the additional headache is an experience you're going to have or not, depending on what you do. And that's why we've recommended this method. We're not saying you have to do it this way, but we have seen so many issues in so many different ways, and every day the rules change so much that get in with cash, do all your exchanging, do all your cold storing, do all your walleting, and get out with cash. So how does it harm you? As long
So
as this is our advice. I'm not saying you have to follow it. So
just
this
to
is
just to go off Alwyn's thing is that within the crypto space, the most difficult part is not the crypto part. A lot of people think it is. It's actually the fiat part because the fiat part is due to certain onboarding regulations. So yes, you can in most some wallets you can buy with credit card. You go in, you put your credit card, they'll take you to a third party, they'll process the credit card, and you can buy your crypto. But the thing about that is that once your credit card company realizes that you're buying crypto, they sometimes, most times, start to flag transactions on the credit card, right? Or they will flag, or banks used to be back in the days, banks will flag wire transfers going to an exchange or going elsewhere. So as long as you're aware of these things, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. The onboarding and offboarding part are the most difficult part because those are the parts that governments and regulators are looking at in order to see what's happening. If you're on crypto, it's hard for people to touch you. It's hard for governments to touch you as long as you stay in crypto. Once you go out of crypto and you're taking crypto out to fiat, that's when your pain and headache will actually start to come.
Can I chime in for one more second? So
Sure.
what you ask, Ilya, it's how you can actually do that. If you use Coinbase, for example, you can definitely transfer it from your bank account to the Coinbase, to create a wallet, and then you can transfer from one wallet to another anytime you want. It's in your control, and then that wallet could be attached to the Russian bank account, and they can withdraw there. You can do that. There's no problem in doing it. The problems comes in that sometimes it takes 2 days to transfer your money, or it takes extra time or extra day. Again, my recommendation to you, try doing it with $20. Whatever you do it $20 the first time. And then once you encounter all the problems and you know them, you can make whatever decisions you want, because I don't think they're going to flog you for $20.
No, they won't. Not yet.
Okay,
Anyways.
thank you.
So we're gonna wrap it up with the last question.
There's one
of the
more
night
question.
From,
Yeah.
So it's from Neon Paintbrush. Go for it. I think you have to unmute yourself so we can hear you talk.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
Great. So I was just curious. So what I've been doing is taking the money out of my bank, like physically, and putting it and taking it to the Bitcoin exchange here in Toronto, and then getting Bitcoin through there. So that works fine. And what you guys are talking about right now is about exchanging your Bitcoin over to the local currency if you are in. Even if I wanted to use my Bitcoin to say buy groceries here in Toronto, and I didn't, if I wanted to do that, then I would have to the easiest way would be to get it out of like a Bitcoin dispensary, right? Like a place like the Bitcoin place here in Toronto, or get get it turned in cash, right? So, but if you're in like say Mexico, um, and they only have like, so my friend said they have only Bitcoin bank machines in Mexico City, apparently. So then, um, what's your options then to get it out in cash? Because the other options, I don't understand what you're talking about fiat. I don't know what that is. It's the other electrical, or sorry, digital currency, right? Like
No,
that's been.
fiat is just your local currency. So fiat means CAD, Canadian dollars, US dollar, Japanese yen, Mexican peso. So fiat is just a general term to represent government money. That's all it
Oh,
is.
okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's one more thing I'd like to add is I know that in Toronto, if you go to any of these ING stores, they all have a Bitcoin ATM.
Right.
Now, the first Bitcoin ATM came in 2014. Antoine bought in the second one, etc., etc. But the
Right.
problem with those ATMs is the person who owns it sets the exchange rate, and he could be sending us charging a higher rate than you are comfortable with. So when you actually go there and you think it's your best option, you might be left with no choice but to take the money you're getting. But let's say right now Bitcoin is at the rate one Bitcoin is 42,000 Canadian. He might be charging you 47,000. So your few Bitcoins that you're selling at a higher rate. But when you deal with someone like Louis or whatever place you said you're going, you can say, hey, I know this person, I know the rate fluctuates throughout the day. That's another issue. Tomorrow the value will be like crazy in roller coaster. But at that point when you're buying or selling, currently I know Louis and Mark, who are two of the my most recommended places for cash to crypto, are at 3.5%. Louis, correct me if I'm wrong. So you can't expect not to have a difference in the buying or selling, but it's a fair rate. So this is our recommendation. Now, we don't say that the others don't work, but we just explain to you what the problems could be. And so also, if you're in Mexico and there are plenty of ATMs, depending on the chain of ATMs owned by whoever, you may have a higher rate or a lower rate, which is not good. But the person doing cash can also be giving you something, or the local Bitcoin person you meet might be good or bad. You have to be careful. But you can always go to preve.com, and you'll have an idea as to what the rate of Bitcoin is at the point of transaction, and you'll know that the guy is making a difference of so and so or so and so, and you'll be able to guess what you're getting in terms of exchange. So as long as you have the knowledge and the tools that we've explained, the situation will be dynamic depending on country, depending on city, depending on method. So this is what we are trying to educate you today. So this is my takes. If
Okay.
anyone else wants to chime in.
Okay.
I mean,
I just
I
have
think we're gonna cap it off there, but yeah, sorry, you were saying your last point.
my go ahead.
So would any of you do this as as an action? Take your, like, if you were in another place, take your cash or Bitcoin out before you leave the country. Take the cash, put it in your bank account. That's like the whatever the government bank account, and put it in there as
No,
as a way of like being able to,
well,
have
you
more
can do that
access.
if that's your spending money in Mexico. If you want to do that, that's fine. You can use your Bitcoin, go to the bank and buy Mexican money and go take it with you, but you declare it. Or you can just move a small amount of crypto from your wallet to a what's called another wallet, like a traveling wallet, you know. But before you get to Mexico or the place that you're going, you have to do your research and see, okay, if I'm going there, is there any place that I can get out of my Bitcoin and or my crypto into local currency? If there's not, then there's no use taking your crypto along with you because you can't sell it to get local currency. So it defeats the purpose. But if there's places that you can actually sell your crypto for local currency, then by all means do that. It's whatever is convenient for you. All right. But bearing
Right.
in mind that if you're traveling and you get on the plane and you're carrying certain amount of currency, local fiat currency, government money, you have to declare that. That shouldn't be a problem if you're not moving more than 10,000 bucks. And you shouldn't be carrying 10,000 bucks anyways, or carrying a wallet C that has that amount of money, crypto, anywhere in the world, really, or in a developing world, because once you don't want to be a red flag when you're doing a crypto transaction.
Okay.
The other thing is just FYI, guys, in Toronto, up to 9999, that is 9,999. When you go to anybody like Louis or Mark, there is no KYC. But if you do 10,000 and above, then you have to do a KYC. Now that's
Well,
different
that
in every city, so
yes,
I don't know.
it's different in every country. In Canada, I think it's banks technically have to report any transactions that are 9999, but also they also look at if you're doing 999 on a regular basis or a continuous basis. So if you're trying to do 999, you go to your bank account, you try to take that amount out, and it's periodic you're doing it in a pattern, that can also red flag. But for whatever reason, globally, governments have decided that if you're moving $10,000 or $10,000 equivalent anywhere in the world, you have to declare that. But again, that's a different story. So if you're traveling, you're not carrying that, you have $1,000, $2,000, and you want to keep it in crypto, and you go to, let's say, Mexico or Bahamas, and you know there's an exchange there, you take your wallet, your soft wallet with you, you find the exchange, you convert as much as you need to local currency.
How do they know? Like, how are they going to find out if you have cryptocurrency or whatever money like that you have in your, if you know, if you're carrying a credit card, if you're carrying a like a Visa or at the Canada Post, they have like a credit card that you can get. It's like a traveling
Prepaid.
credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just like load whatever money into it. So how are they going to know like what exactly you have? Like, are they gonna like attack you? Like,
No, I mean credit card wise, they don't know. Well, credit card wise,
bank card.
if I see you pull out again, people that are going to do bad are going to do bad. They'll spot you as a foreigner. It doesn't matter where you are and their interaction with you. They'll try to take from you. So whether it's fiat, crypto, it doesn't matter. It's just you have to be safe wherever you go in the world, right?
Mhm.
When it comes to when you're traveling, you have crypto on you, and you're trying to do crypto. What happens is that there's not a lot of outlets in the world currently that you can physically go and say, this is my crypto. Can I get your local currency? Exchange it. There's not that many, not yet, anyways. But it'll happen. It's happening slowly, right? But what happens is most places in the world, I can go and I say, here's my US dollar, and I can get local currency without a problem.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Unfortunately, I will not be answering or taking any more questions. We are way over time. Just a friendly reminder again, this video will be on YouTube, so you are feel free to go and check this out on your YouTube channel. Also, please be sure to follow our social media links on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We are all there. Just another reminder, we also on Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram, and we will be making a shift to having a lot of people on Signal and Telegram, but our WhatsApp group will be active till further notice. I will just wrap the presentation up here and say, stay safe and happy hodling. If you don't know what hodling means, it's hold on for dear life. Hold on to your crypto, hold it safe, and hold it for as long as you can. And that's about it. Stay safe, everyone, and until next time. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thanks. Take care.
Find our meetup on meetup.com. I don't have a link, but it's Bitcoin Bay on meetup.com. Please be sure to follow us if you're new, so you can see the schedule. And on our YouTube channel, if you guys have any questions, send us questions there, put in the comments, talk about topics that you would like to see in the future. And any other questions, please email us at info@bitcoinbay. And if you're looking to get more private lessons, then email us at info@bitcoinbay through there as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope everyone has a great evening.